Hey, Slater Crusaders, America's the greatest country in the world. Welcome to our special, The Future for Artificial Intelligence. And if we could have a longer title, it would almost be something like The Future for Artificial Intelligence in a post-MAGA world, or in the new Trump golden era. Because it seems as if Trump has gone all in on AI. Among the flurry of executive orders, one of the orders was removing barriers to American leadership and artificial intelligence. And it does a lot, and we'll break it down with two of our guests here. But let me just read this beginning part here, just to give a little flavor of what Trump is thinking here. He said, the United States has long been at the forefront of artificial intelligence innovation, driven by the strength of our free markets, world-class research institutions, and entrepreneurial spirit. To maintain this leadership, we must develop AI systems that are free from ideological bias or engineered social agendas. We'll get back to that at the end of the show. With the right government policies, we can solidify our position as the future leader in AI and secure a brighter future for all Americans. This order revokes certain existing AI policies and directives that act as barriers to American AI innovation. We'll get to that in a second. Clearing a path for the United States to act decisively to retain global leadership in AI. It is the policy of the United States to sustain and enhance America's global AI dominance in order to promote human flourishing. Love that. We talk about that all the time. Human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security. Okay, so that is Trump's opening stance on AI. Now, I have a bit of a tension in this entire special here. Every special that we've done on artificial intelligence, we've done a couple of them, it's from my perspective, the dangers of AI. Because you got most of the world out there is like, AI, it's amazing. Look at this technological advancement. It's great. So I just felt the need to be like, whoa, pump the brakes here for a second. And it's also my conservative instinct. I think real life is better than fake life. In general, I have a repulsion to anything new and high tech. We've all lived through the pros and cons of technology and technological advancements. And of course, technology is great, right? My kid was in the NICU for a couple weeks. His life was saved with technology, of course. We've also seen how destructive a lot of technology has been to our lives. So it's interesting to see how we figure this out. Neil Postman, who's my favorite person who writes about this type of stuff, is back in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. He said, every technology is both a burden and a blessing. Not either or, but this and that. And it takes me time to get to that point. Now, with AI, my first instinct is to push back. Like, no, this is bad. I only see the dystopian future that AI can bring. And once I kind of work through that, then I think, oh yeah, but man, can this be stopped? Neil Postman back in the 50s, he said, I don't think any of us can do much about the rapid growth of new technology. That was in the 50s. So the best thing we can do now is to help all of us understand how we can use this stuff wisely, and also make sure that we, America, are the ones who are in charge of the new technology. We in America, we've been on the forefront of AI with ChatGPT and others that are out there. There's a bunch out there now, right? Artificial intelligence programs that regular people can use. But something else I've come to realize is that every new technology that comes around, we have no idea how it will ultimately be used. Right? Think about, could the founders of the internet have really, in the late 60s and 70s, have envisioned what the internet is today? There's no way. We have to think like that with AI, right? We think we have some idea of how it can be used, and we're like, oh, maybe it can improve some automated office tasks, or it can be used to write code, or maybe AI can use to like screen or scan cancer screening tests better than human cans. Like, that's the best that we can think of. But give this AI a few years, computer processing speeds double every 2 years, we'll have no idea what AI will be capable of very soon. So, all that being said, I therefore put more importance not on stopping it, because I don't think it can be, but on making sure that we are the ones who are in charge of it, and that America is the forefront and leader, and not China. It's similar, we did a special the other day on Greenland. and having greater control over the Arctic Ocean and the shipping channels and having military supremacy on the top of the planet. And we've talked about this idea of the American empire, and some people are pretty knee-jerk against the idea of empire. But you got to reframe the question. It's not should we or shouldn't we have an American empire. The question is who should be the biggest empire in the country, right? So it's not should we or shouldn't we have control of the Arctic shipping lanes. It's who do you want to have control over the Arctic shipping lanes? Do you want America to have control or do you want China to have control? Same thing with AI. It's not, oh, should we or shouldn't we have AI? It's coming. Who do you want to have control over it? And who do you want to be in charge of setting the future of what AI will ultimately look like beyond what we can even conceive today? China came up with their own version of a chat GTP. It's called DeepSeek. We're going to talk with our guest coming up next about what DeepSeek is. My understanding is it's the biggest advantage for China and DeepSeek is the cost of it, the cost to develop and the cost to use it. So if you're a different country around the world and you're in no place to develop your own artificial intelligence systems, are you going to go to the American version that's very expensive? Or are you going to use the Chinese version that's literally 1% of the price? I'm not kidding with 1%. DeepSeek claims that they produced this with $5 million. And ChatGPT cost $500 million. And also, of course, it's in China, right? So who knows what type of censorship and propaganda they'll be using and spreading through it around the world. But this is why it's important that America maintains its technological supremacy over the world. DeepSeek could easily be a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative of technology, right? Add it to the list, just like TikTok, right? We have our own social media companies in America to worry about, but then TikTok comes in, and now we have all those problems plus the propaganda part of it. And spreading a communist worldview, and they could be doing that with their DeepSeek artificial intelligence as well. Chamath was on Tucker Carlson's podcast recently, and he made a pretty convincing argument that appealed not only to my patriotism, which is good, I want America to be the best, but spoke to even more than that. Again, it's not, my instinct is no to AI, right? Because that's just my nature. I want to live on a farm with chickens and goats. I wish cell phones were never invented, but that's just not reality. So if that's not the case, then we just got to start thinking like this.
It is important for all 330 million Americans to take a step back and acknowledge this one truth. And I think that it is completely a canonical statement that is inviolate for being an American. We are the single most important country in existence in the world. We are the most important country today. We must be the most important country tomorrow. Period. If you say that enough times and you believe it, then there are two things that underpin that, and I think only two. We are the single most vibrant economy in the world, and we are the single strongest military in the world. And if you can agree to those two things, which I think should be non-controversial, if you say, meaning, like if I said to you, hey, Tucker, we make the best oranges and burritos in America. That does not yield the most important country in the world. If I said we make the best shoes and the best flat panel TVs, that does not equate to the most powerful country in the world. But if I said to you, we have the strongest and most vibrant economy and the strongest and most powerful military, that is the strongest and most important country in the world.
Yes.
And then there is only one thing that gives you both of those two things, which is technological supremacy.
That term, technological supremacy. Now, he's a Silicon Valley guy, Chamath is. So his instinct is going to be that, the most important thing is technology. But I think he's also right. It's not the only thing that matters. But when it comes to power, then it might be. How powerful is Panama? We want the Panama Canal back. Was their military going to stop us? Oh, wait, they don't have one. How powerful is Denmark? What's Denmark going to do to stop us? Nothing, right? Nothing compared to us. So if we want to win, we need to make sure we maintain our technological supremacy, and I always want to win. But how do we win the AI battle? What do we do? What does it even look like? Chamath talked about different things that can be either They could be used for good or bad, right? So for example, gene editing. Is gene editing good? We can talk about that. Like, maybe not, but probably not. Right? Was my instinct like no? But he made the point that in Silicon Valley, an American company came up with this, and then they were squabbling over some like legal issues or whatever. Meanwhile, China came in, and now they're the leader of gene editing. Well, I don't like it. Definitely don't like that. So we better become the leaders of gene editing. We need to be the ones who are in charge of that technology, because we don't want China to be the ones in charge of it. So it's not technology good or bad, or even technology win or lose. It's who has it or who doesn't. We need to be the ones in charge. And then, of course, another call to increase the importance of virtue of we the people, so that we can use these tools wisely. We need to develop them, we need to own them, we need to control them, and we need to use them in a way that, as Donald Trump said, leads to more human flourishing. It's a tall order, but that's what we need to do.